Welcome to Information Literacy 101 with James B. Duke Memorial Library on behalf of Johnson C. Smith University. The library's role is to provide access to information and resources, which includes books, databases, journals, and various other resources. Library staff help support library users in navigating the library's collection and finding resources to support their academic endeavors. So at James B. Duke Memorial Library, there's an Information and Literacy Learning Program, also known as JIL. In this program, undergraduate and graduate students will receive instruction on accessing the library's education resources. Then, students will learn how to select the right resources, evaluate them, and use them effectively. Overall, there are two program goals. We want to train students how to make appropriate decisions when they are searching for information to complete their assignments successfully, and also foster lifelong learning for information literacy learning that goes beyond the classroom and helps students develop skills for the workforce. So, what is information literacy? According to the Association of College and Research Libraries, also known as the ACRL, information literacy is defined as the set of skills needed to find, retrieve, analyze, and use information. So why is it so important? When it comes to information literacy, there's a vast amount of knowledge and information that people need to navigate and that is available. So through JIL, you will learn how to reflect, learn, and connect all of this information together. So starting from the beginning of the process, learning to define your tasks, identifying your options of what type of information is out there, selecting the resources that you choose to use, analyzing that content, presenting your findings, and overall evaluating what your research means. So how can information literacy help? There are four main skills that students will get by improving their information literacy skills. That is research skills. Students will learn how to problem solve, manage their time better, get better at note-taking, and learn to take more attention to detail. For communication skills, students will improve not only their written, but also their verbal, nonverbal, and visual skills as well. Critical thinking. Students will gain the ability to evaluate the credibility, reliability, and the relevance of sources to effectively understand a topic or issue in their research. And lastly, computer technology skills. Students will obtain necessary software skills to use applications and programs effectively for information literacy skills. So all of these skills will help students be better equipped as they identify unreliable or fake news and also potential bias in their sources. By doing so, students will become smarter consumers and hopefully more informed citizens. And these skills do not only apply to reading news, they also come in handy when evaluating resources for your research. What are some examples of information literacy? Information literacy is going through a step-by-step process as you gather information, verify whether the source is reliable and relevant to the topic or issue that you may be researching. Students will learn how to write a scientific research paper, and as they search for a specific purpose, they're going to learn to access that information in an effective way. That way, they will be able to transfer that new knowledge they are learning and uncover current knowledge so that they can determine what they learned overall at the end of the process. Some more examples would be as you are fact-checking news articles, if you choose to share them on social media, evaluating the credibility of sources used in research papers or presentations, recognize and avoiding how to use misinformation that may come from fake news online, knowing when a search or accessing reliable information, using online databases and library resources, and understanding the importance of citing sources when you're doing your scientific research paper, that way to properly avoid plagiarism, as well as identifying biases that may be in news coverage or online content, and considering multiple perspectives before forming your opinions. Information literacy and pop culture. Here are a few examples that information literacy can be seen in pop culture today. Sherlock is a great example. Through this, you would be able to understand critical thinking skills, evaluating resources, information retrieval, problem solving, and also the ethical use of information. The Crown, critical analysis of sources, understanding the historical context of information, being able to differentiate fact versus fiction, other ethical considerations as you are gathering information, and also being able to interpret multiple perspectives. The movie Inception shows great critical thinking and analysis, how to navigate complex information, understanding different perspectives, the ethical use of information, and also the process of information retrieval. Reliable versus unreliable resources. Reliable resources include books, newspapers, or magazines, peer-reviewed journals, peer-reviewed articles, PhD or MBA dissertations in research, public or academic library resources, scholarly articles, and also sites ending in .edu, .org, .gov, and some .com. Other unreliable sources are Wikipedia, blogs, tweets, personal pages, some sites that end in .com, like answer.com, forums, and bias sites. The reason why these sources are unreliable is that they may rely more on opinions rather than facts, and you're not always able to fact check that information. Fact checking information is really important in research because you want to be able to cite the sources that you use and be able to relate your sources back to your writing. So, what makes a site trustworthy? Having the author listed on the information, if the author has a positive reputation, if the domain or the site that you're using is credible, so .com, some .com sites, .edu or .gov, if the website is well designed and also organized, and also if the website or source you are using is grammatically or linguistically correct. So you want to make sure that writing looks scholarly. Here's an example of a tweet by former President Donald Trump. This was actually a fake tweet, but going back to reliable versus unreliable sources, this is why it's important to fact check your information. This tweet was shared on social media and it got lots of retweets and liked. When a individual has a big reputation or is well known, information that is fake can be damaging, especially as it becomes widely spread and if it is not in fact true. The media bias chart is another helpful source when you are verifying what sites are reliable versus unreliable. So this chart provides visual representation on how various news sources are categorized based on their perceived bias and reliability. Overall, this chart aims to help readers understand the political leanings and also the reliability of different sources that you might encounter, and also help foster critical thinking skills as well. So this is the most updated version as of 2024. Critical thinking skills. So critical thinking is the process of carefully examining information, considering if that information makes sense, deciding whether it's true, and also worth using in your research. It's important to use critical thinking skills in your research because it helps evaluate evidence, identify biases, consider alternate perspectives, and also draw valid conclusions. By doing so, you are ensuring the integrity of your research and also the reliability of your findings. So, as you're researching, ask yourself a few questions. Does someone or an organization benefit from this information? Does this information sound biased towards one side or another? Can you tell if the author has an opinion on that? Does the heading or headline match the information in the body? And does the information conflict with something that you already know is true? By doing all of this, then you will be able to ultimately determine if you should use that source or not. So thank you for listening to the Information Literacy 101 course. Should you have any other questions, this is how to reach James B. Duke Memorial Library here at Johnson C. Smith University. This is the phone number as well as the email. And we'd be happy to answer any additional questions or help you with your research needs.